Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel Buddha Affirmation. Here every story has a purpose and every lesson is meant to help you grow in a life. So let's dive into a new story that will teach us a deep lesson about compassion. So let's start the story. A long time ago, in a small village nestled in the countryside, lived a humble monk named Jack. Jack was one of the Buddha's most devoted disciples. After receiving teachings from Buddha, Jack chose the path of renunciation. He gave up the comforts of his previous life, his family, wealth, and home to embrace a life of simplicity and spiritual discipline. Jack owned only three things: a single robe to cover himself, a wooden staff to assist his walk, and a begging bowl to collect food. His life was free of material attachments, but his mind was rich with the desire for enlightenment. Jack spent his days meditating under shady trees, practicing mindfulness, and guiding the villagers with teaching of kindness, peace, and inner balance. Though his life was peaceful, he often felt that something was missing. His heart was devoted to the path of spirituality, yet doubt lingered in his mind. He felt as though he had not yet grasped the deeper truth of the path Buddha had shown him. One day, while talking to the villagers, Jack came to know about an wise hermit who lived in the forest near the village. This hermit was known for his immense wisdom and profound meditative practices. People from far away traveled to seek his advice and experience the serenity that radiated from his presence. The idea of meeting such a sage intrigued Jack. He thought that perhaps this wise man can answer the questions arising in my mind. Jack decided to visit the hermit early one morning with his robe tied securely and his staff in hand. He ventured into the forest. The woods were lush and alive, filled with the sweet melodies of the birds and the rustling of the leaves. As he walked deeper into the forest, the sound of the nature faded into a peaceful silence. Eventually, Jack arrived at a small clearing. There, beneath a grand banyan tree, sat the elderly hermit. The old man was deep in meditation, his eyes closed and his face glowing with an aura of tranquility. Jack watched quietly for a moment, hesitating to interrupt. The hermit, sensing Jack's presence, opened his eyes and smiled. His gaze was warm and welcoming, and said gently, "Come closer, child." Jack bowed respectfully and said, "Master, I have renounced the world and dedicated myself to meditation and spiritual practices. Yet, I still feel restless. My heart is troubled by questions and my mind feels clouded. Can you guide me on how to walk this path with greater clarity?" The hermit listened attentively, nodding as Jack spoke. After a brief silence, he said, "The path you have chosen, my child, is not an easy one. It requires great patience, discipline, and the willingness to let go of your ego. But more than anything, it requires love, compassion, and tolerance. If you truly wish to walk this path, you must embrace every living being with kindness and let go of the pride that binds your heart." Jack absorbed the sage's words, bowing in gratitude. The hermit's advice felt like a guiding light, and Jack returned to the village with a renewed sense of purpose. A few days after his meeting with the hermit, Jack's newfound resolve was put to the test. One morning, several villagers approached him with worried expression and said, "There is a poor woman in our village who has fallen very ill. She has no family to care for her, and her condition is worsening. Can you visit her and offer your help?" Without hesitation, Jack agreed and followed the villagers to a small, dilapidated hut at the edge of the village. Inside, he found the woman lying on a thin mat. Her face was pale and she looked incredibly weak. Jack knelt beside her, his heart aching at the sight of her suffering. He placed a comforting hand on her shoulder and said gently, "Do not worry, I will help you." He fetched water for her, gave him some simple medicine, and stayed by her side, talking softly to calm her fear. Over the few days, Jack visited her regularly, bringing food and tending to her needs. As time passed, the woman began to recover. Her strength returned and her face lit up with gratitude. One day, she clapped her hand and said, "Thank you, Jack. You have saved my life." Jack smiled and replied, "Your strength and the kindness of the villagers have brought you back to health. Remember to share that kindness with others." This experience left a deep impression on Jack. He realized that true spiritual practice was not just about sitting in meditation or focusing inward. It was also about extending love and compassion to those in need. Jack thought that this was what the hermit had meant by embracing every living being with compassion. Several months later, Jack was invited to the home of a wealthy man in the village. This man was known for his arrogance and his fashion for showing off his wealth. He took pride in hosting extravagant feasts and surrounding himself with the finest luxuries. Jack always opened to opportunities to share wisdom and accepted the invitation. When he arrived at the man's grand house, he was greeted with much pomp and show. The host led him into a lavish dining hall where a table was laden with all kinds of delicious food. Golden plates, crystal glasses, and silk napkins decorated the table, and the air was filled with the aroma of spices and sweets. The wealthy man, brimming with pride, gestured toward the feast and said, "Look at what I have prepared for you, honored monk. Only the finest for my guest. Is not it magnificent?" Jack sat quietly, offering a small smile. He ate his meal with gratitude, but remained unmoved by the host's attempt to impress him. When the meal was over, Jack looked at the man and said, "Thank you for your hospitality. This feast is indeed generous, but true richness does not lie in gold or fine food. It lies in humility, compassion, and a heart free from pride." The wealthy man was taken aback. No one had ever spoken to him this way before. Jack continued, "Happiness does not come from silk robes or grand feasts. It comes from simplicity, from serving others, and from finding peace within yourself." The man fell silent, reflecting on Jack's words. Over time, he began to change. He started helping the poor, sharing his wealth with those in need, and treating everyone with kindness. Jack's journey was filled with moments of growth and learning. From the hermit in the forest, he learned the importance of humility and compassion. From the sick woman, he learned the value of service and selflessness. And from the wealthy man, he realized how words of wisdom could inspire change in others. As the years went by, Jack became a beacon of hope and inspiration in the village. People came to him not just for guidance, but to experience the warmth of his kindness and the peace of his presence. Jack understood that the path of enlightenment was not just about personal growth, it was about lifting others up along the way. It was not just about sitting in meditation, it was about facing life challenges with courage and grace. And most importantly, it was not just about achieving peace for oneself, it was about spreading love and compassion to every being. The villagers loved Jack deeply, for he was not just a monk, but a teacher, a healer, and a friend. His life was a testament to the teachings of Buddha, a life rooted in humility, compassion, and unwavering dedication to the well-being of others. This story teaches that true spiritual practice lies in balancing self-discipline with service to others. It is about letting go of ego, embracing love, and living a life guided by compassion. The story of Jack also teaches that enlightenment is not found in isolation or renunciation alone. It is found in our action, in the kindness we show, and in the love we share. By helping others and living with humility, we too can walk the path of true wisdom. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this video, hit like button, and for more such stories, subscribe to our channel. Thank you and stay positive.